Hey, everybody. Welcome to Convos and Coffee. Um, yeah, okay, so welcome. As you all know, it's been a really scary and challenging week here in Los Angeles, where I live with my family. I was born and raised. We were hit with these disastrous fires that have uprooted and devastated the lives of so many people we know. My family is safe, as I've told you before, and we've evacuated, and we've been evacuated, and so many of our friends have as well, and a lot of them don't have homes to return to. So our community has been rocked beyond comprehension. There are no words. There are only prayers, and today's the first day that I have felt enough strength to be able to come on here and have a conversation. So, as I was thinking about who I wanted to talk to, the person that really dropped in for me was a beautiful woman. I'm going to cry even introducing her, and then she's going to come on smiling. A beautiful woman, mother, friend, wife, creative talent, Amanda Klutz. You've all probably come to, if you don't know Amanda, for those of you that live out of the United States, Amanda is an actress and TV personality and dancer, and during COVID, her husband got very sick with COVID. He was an actor, wonderful man named Nick Cordero. And she documented the difficulty that she went through with that. And she, at the time, had a very young child. So Amanda has gone through a lot, and we're going to talk about it. She survived 9/11. She lost her husband in COVID. And now she's also evacuated with her young son during this LA disaster. So I want to speak to her as a mother, and I want to speak to her to talk about just what we can do right now to help ourselves, help our children, our friends, how we can show up for each other, how we have been showing up for each other this very long week, and also just dealing with grief. So I'm going to invite her on, and I want to also just say thank you to everybody that has reached out to me, the outpouring, and our family, and also to everyone, because I see on Insta like so many people are saying how people have reached out. When you don't live in Los Angeles, wherever you are in the world, you don't understand how big Los Angeles is, but it's very, very, very big. You know, the area in where we live on the west side, in the Palisades area, and all that west side of Los Angeles, it's like twice the size of Manhattan. So when you think about how much has been destroyed, it's enormous, but it's also really far away from other places in LA. So this is a mountainous area, and it's prone to fires and other things. But anyway, I just want you to know that it's not just that some homes went down. It is an entire community and a huge part of our city. So I just want you to know that, because some people don't understand the geographics of LA. So let me invite my friend Amanda on. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm here. I'm in my hotel room. I've got I got a matcha, which is bringing me some comfort every day. It's a very good one with oat milk. Hello, beauty.
Hi.
Hi. See, I told you she's going to show up like sunshine. This is it. This is how you show up.
You look so pretty in the red. Everyone keeps saying how pretty your red sweater is. It's true.
I'm not even reading, but you know what? I put the red sweater on because, frankly, it was a little bit of color in a very long week. And I have not a lot of clothes with me when I left my house. And I grabbed this sweater because it just brought me some joy. So,
Listen,
yeah.
this is rule number one that I learned when I went through my massive loss. Do one thing a day that makes you happy. And if it's wearing your red sweater, that is what you need to do today. It may last 5 minutes, it may last an hour, it may last the whole day, but just do one thing a day to make you happy. And it really does change. It changes your mood. It really does work. I also love that we both have our green juices right
Yeah,
now.
I have a matcha, my matcha, but it's very good at the hotel. They make this really good oat milk one, which has been bringing me another little bit of joy every day.
But
Good for you. So I know that we are both not in our homes, and you're safe. Elvis is good, your son. You guys are safe and okay. So that's the most important thing. And I want to say that in looking at this past week, the one thing that has truly kept me optimistic and hopeful in the midst of a lot of darkness in this is just that I feel like the light of God was shining, that it happened in the daytime, and that people were able to evacuate so that there were not more
yeah,
fatalities. People who stayed in their homes, and didn't heed the warnings, but we did get warnings and people got out. And that's huge because not everybody is given that warning. And so things could be
you're right.
even worse.
You're
So,
right. You're right.
um,
That's
you know,
such a
my yeah, I wanted the reason you came in for me to talk to is because first of all, you had so much strength during COVID of going through what you went through and being able to share it. And what I'm finding, and I'm sorry to cry right away because I don't want to cry. I just think that what happens is when you go through something that's happening to you at that moment, we we go into whatever our state of survival is, right? I mean,
yeah,
we've seen on the news a man who was running in circles when he found his dog.
yeah,
He did
yeah,
he was like, so what I'm witnessing and what I'm experiencing this week is that I personally went into a place of like, okay, make sure you got this, make sure you have that. Get the kids to grab the things out of their home that they care about because they may not be able to see the home again. How do we, you get into this, especially as women, we are carrying ourselves and our children and our families and everybody else. That's what we do.
yes,
So what I realized was that I was kind of going through the week and having these ebbs and flows. And yesterday it kind of all started to come up. And today is the first time that I'm actually having, deep feelings and tears about it. My questions to you are like, in your experience of moving through these kinds of situations, like what what are some of the things that have helped you? Like what in terms of like one thing you just said would just do something every single day. And I also just want to talk about the spiritual component of that. You know, what your lessons before you have gone through difficult experiences were and what they are after. Were
yes,
you raised religious? Like tell me a little bit
yeah,
about your survival. And I have to say like you know, I felt I felt called to have this conversation, not about politics and not about, you know, I felt to have a conversation that can be productive
mm,
and that can help us in a moment when we're going through something that sometimes like we're so spinning that you don't hear and you don't, so
yeah.
tell me.
I think, well, I was raised religious, and I still am. And it is hard sometimes in these times to still trust in what you believe and find that faith. And there were many a times during COVID where I was like screaming and yelling to God, where are you? Why is this happening? And I think that I was speaking to my good friend Rabbi Steve Leader the other day,
Yeah.
and he mentioned how God is in all the little things, and we have to find those little whispers in our day and in these moments that remind us that He is there. He's with us, and we can still have that faith. And I thought that was a really beautiful way of thinking of it.
Yeah.
And, you know, my dad said something to me one day when I was in utter despair and I was crying to him saying, where is God right now? Why isn't he listening to my prayers? Why is he letting this happen? And my dad said, honey, you're praying for a miracle and Nick is still alive. He's still with us. He's here every day. Every day you're praying for him to live and he's still living. So he is giving you he's answering your prayers every single day. And so I looked at like that kind of reframed things for me because I was at the time just spiraling like, you know, why isn't he getting better? Why isn't God listening? Um, I think these times in our lives, I've learned now, they make us a person that we didn't even know existed within us. They challenge us in ways that we have to rise up and we have to rise above. And you come out of these situations a completely different human. It's impossible not to see what we've seen, to experience what we've experienced, to have all of these friends of ours that have completely lost everything. It affects you in ways that it will change you forever. And that change and that growth and the way we evolve through this is beautiful. So you have to remember that we don't stay in this darkness. We
Right.
move through it.
Right.
And on the other side of darkness is light.
Right.
And then the other little thing I'll say, and then I'll give the floor back to you, is a good friend said to me after Nick passed away, it's really like right after he passed away, he goes, Amanda, that was your Nick era. And it'll never be taken away from you. You had that time with him, you had those years with him, and you'll always have that. And you can always look back on that era in your life as a beautiful time. And now you're in a new era of your life. And this era is going to teach you all new things and it's going to be beautiful in its own way. And you're going to even be on another era of your life. And so I
Mhm.
think that we can also look at it like at that, you know, like anyone that has lost their home through this time,
Yeah.
that was that beautiful era of that time
Yeah.
in their life, unity, and nothing will take away from that. And now we're going to be in a new era. And this era we will find the beauty in as well. So that kind of helped me reframe things
Yeah.
as well. It helped me
Yeah.
figure out how to move forward, you know?
Yeah. No, that's super helpful. I do find that, because this has been such a massively collective loss in a community, so many people have lost their homes. It's not like, oh, those few. It's like rare that your home stayed. And
Yeah.
so,
Stayed,
um,
you can't go back there. You know, I have friends that like
right.
they're the only home block, but they can't stay.
Yeah.
They can't go back
No,
home. So
no,
they're
no.
also, you know, they've also lost their home in a way.
Yeah, a lot of people have sort of been like, "Oh, well, you guys aren't in the map area of like where it would, like in this area." And I'm like, "No, no, no, you don't understand. It's a fire. Like the air is bad, the water is probably contaminated. Like there's many, many, many reasons that and that particular area of downtown Palisades and also Altadena, and which was, and really hit hard. Um, those areas are not going to be, you know." Uh, we're not going to be able to occupy them for a very long time. So um, I agree with you on the era. And I do think that some people have had beautiful sort of ways of looking at this as sometimes things need to almost be taken away in order for like it is that time and space and having gratitude for having had that home, having had the memories in that home.
Yeah.
Um, and and in something like this, like I said to a friend who lives somewhere else, who's always like, oh, this, looking at this is a very much like American issue. This happened in America. And I'm thinking, no, this is a global problem. We're having things with climate change happen, crazy things all over the world. So we all need to be there for each other. And even though it's hard for us to understand not living in that city or understanding, how it all is, that what we need to have is compassion for each other. And I said that because some people said, oh, like certain areas, but everyone in LA has money. And I'm like, that's not true. Like, that's not true. So um,
And
I guess,
it's been so,
God,
so beautiful seeing how everyone's like really coming together
yeah,
all over the world. But like, even when I moved to LA, I was like, I don't know. You hear such horrible things about friendships there, and community,
yeah,
and people not supporting each other. And it's like, I mean, I, since COVID, experienced the exact opposite from LA and the
yeah,
community and my friends now in Los Angeles.
yeah.
And we're seeing it again. It's so beautiful to see. It's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be friends. We're supposed to come together. We're supposed to support each other. We're supposed to help each other. We're supposed to love one another, no matter where you are, where you are. And these things that are horrible, and these traumas, and natural disasters are awful. But then the beauty of that is so gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, to watch in our community this past week, I had first of all, I'll finish my thought to watch the way people have come together for each other and so quickly was incredible. And it actually empowered me, which is why it's taken me this whole week to even have a moment to kind of go, oh my gosh, I have these feelings that have to come out. We jumped in. I have a friend that opened, and too, we have friends that have opened stores for everybody. Of the donations are so massive that they don't even have a plate, they don't have enough for them anymore. So people came together. People that lost their homes were helping feed other people. My
Yeah.
own children were like, how can we help? My son's soccer team, they came together. They weren't even in the ring of fire of this, but they got these boys together within 2 days on a field that was open and okay to bring them together, to see each other, to be there for the kids that have lost their homes, to commune. It's just the way the schools and everything has handled it has been unreal. And I think that is what, there's always that. I told my kids, look for the helper, right? In the moment that you see these images that we're all seeing, look for the helper, and having gratitude for that, and realizing how much good is in people, how much
Yeah.
good is in your neighbor that you never talked to. These moments make you talk to the people you've never talked to.
It's so
Like, nothing else matters,
else
right?
matter. I know. Yep,
Nothing
nothing
else.
else. And I'll tell you what, when you're alone and you're spiraling, and that's okay. We all can, you can go there, and it's okay to. It's almost probably for sure a part of the process in trauma and in grief. But if you can get yourself to get out of that even for a second, when you help someone else, when you need help, so you're suffering, but when you can try to help someone else, it really is like the ultimate game changer for your mental health, because it takes you out of your
Yeah.
own head and puts all of your energy and your mind and your focus and your heart into helping somebody else in need. And it really can transform your situation, your day, your hour. So look for the helpers, but also be a
Be
helper.
a
help
helper. Yeah.
help help tend whatever garden you can tend in your own beautiful way,
Yeah.
even if you're, because it will help your suffering.
Yeah. My daughter the other day was suffering a lot. A lot of friends of hers and families, they all lost homes, and we went and we helped. And I said that to her, and we went, and really it was such a wonderful uh just way of just getting out of your own panic,
Yeah, your
right?
own. Yeah, because you
Yeah,
feel stuck. And I
totally stuck.
so many times in my life, I still feel stuck. This is also something, grief doesn't leave you. This grief of what happened to LA, to the communities that we love, it won't leave us. It come up years down the road, and it can make you feel stuck. So you have to figure out these ways to unstick your stuff, because you can't stay in stuck.
No.
It just paralyzes you, and nobody can live, that way.
Um, Tell me, what advice do you have for parents who are helping their children grieve?
My advice is, and luckily I just confirmed this with a child psychologist. So I'm like, oh, good, because it was just kind of what I was doing innately. But it's honesty. Be honest with your children. They they see and hear and pick up on a lot of things, and if we pretend that they don't,
Yeah,
we're only pretending. So I think the more honest you can be in a way that will help them to understand what's happening.
hmm,
If you don't want to give all the information, that's okay. But I think it is important to be honest. It's what I've always done with Elvis. And it just felt right at the time. It still feels right with him and raising him, and going through the changes as he ages. But I think that it's, we're all human, and we all actually do really crave honesty no matter what age we are.
100%. You know what? That was something that I so specifically remember when my mom wanted to make the darker things seem lighter for me growing up, but my instinct saw and felt that there was more to it. I really didn't like that. I didn't like that I wasn't being told the truth, and I knew that there was more to it. And it's just something that when I became a parent, I made a commitment to not do to my kids. And if I don't have an answer, or I just say, I don't know, but I'll get back to you. I'm going to think about it. Or, this is just how this is right now, and whatever that may be. Another thing that a friend shared with me that she just said to her children was, the son was a bit annoyed these last days of certain things that, he felt the parents kind of were not handling well, or they were stressed or whatever, and they turned to him and they had to say, we don't have a roadmap for this. Like, our parents didn't actually teach us how to deal with this situation. So as a family, or as a, anything, as a parent or whatever, we're trying to do the best that we can.
Right.
And so, and we're going to make mistakes, but you also have to know we don't know. So
Right.
we're figuring it out together. And that was huge. Like, when I heard that too, I felt like that was such a beautiful way to put it, and also include your child in a conversation so that they know, because they're looking for us, right, for the safety
Right.
and support, and but
Yeah.
there's certain situations that are uncertain in that moment. It's life.
I Yeah, I love that. And we touched on that the other day too. I said, he said, if your children are asking you questions, instead of well, oh, no, 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 mommy's not sad, or it's okay, like, look them in the eyes and either give them an answer that they can understand and hear, and process. Or he said exactly what you said. Say, I don't know right now, but I'm going to try to figure it out, and I will let you know when I figure it
Yeah,
out. No,
yeah,
it's like they they pick up on everything. I mean, I'm
yeah.
shocked when I Elvis isn't listening, and then like 10 minutes later he's like, "What were you saying to, Rachel about?" And I'm like, "What?"
And then the other part is when they go to school and they tell their teacher about your conversation with Rachel, and then you're like, wait a second, you can't tell them. So it's, it's very, very, that's very funny, because they do listen and they do hear and they do feel us. So when we're in pain, yeah, but and they're going to feel that, but life has this in it. So as much as we want to protect every little corner of it and make it all, bright and shiny and the world, it's messy.
Yeah.
It's messy. And they have to have the resilience to move through that. I do think, as you said, helping and looking at somebody else and their circumstances and where they're at in a different way. And helping them is gets us out of our own fear and panic. Another thing too um, is how what I noticed this week is like everybody handles things differently. So it's like we really have to have a lot of patience and compassion for where people are at. There is no timeline for grief,
No. Mm-mm. No.
right?
And yeah, and I think this is a great reminder to right now as well. We all grieve differently as well. Some people immediately go into a state of depression and sadness and they can't get out of bed. And some people react a completely different way. Some people want to be by other people. Some people need to be alone. Um, and I think it's a great reminder to allow grace because you said it earlier. We haven't we haven't gone through this before. LA has never had a fire like this before.
Mm-mm.
So we're all dealing with this for the first time. So there is no protocol on how to feel and how to move and how to deal with this. So you have to allow that grace, you can't I I hate judging. I hate the word judging and I hate when I see people judging other people on social media, even like you're not doing enough or you're not saying the right things or you're smiling. Why are you smiling? You're not allowed to smile right now. You're sad. You're not allowed to be sad. You didn't lose your home. We can all be all of these things. You can have all of these emotions. Grief and trauma bring up everything. It is a roller coaster. And I would just, yeah, if I could like give a PSA, I'd be like, don't judge right now.
No.
Just breathe and allow people grace.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you really need to. And also, Grace, with friends and family that are not in it with us, they don't totally understand. Like, I've gotten some messages that were totally bizarre. They weren't asking how we were. They weren't asking if we were like, it wasn't that. It was just how hard it was for them to look at images, or how hard it was for and but even in that moment of me not knowing how to respond to this, the truth is that they don't know.
Right,
They don't
right.
know how this feels.
Yeah.
And so I had to take a moment of going, wait, you know, because when you're moving through something as well, it's so easy for us to sort of feel like, oh, everybody's in this same kind of thing right now. And they're not,
They're not.
you know,
No.
they're not. Like, oftentimes when I do this Convos and Coffee, we have a lot of real conversations and authentic conversations. And, but there's a positivity about it, and there is, today as well. But it's hard. Like, we are talking about things that, and it might not affect or think they affect some people, but it's not just about what's happening in LA. That's why I think you have been such a resilient warrior, and I wrote that in introducing you. You're a mama warrior, and I say mama because you lead with your feminine power and grace of being here. You're present. You are listening. You are responding as a person who is present and has done the work. Hi, Elvis. Hi, sweetheart.
Spiders, bugs. I see spiders
One
and bugs
second.
in that room, so I don't want to be in there.
Okay, you can come back in this room if you like, but you'll have to turn the computer off, okay? Um, I
Awesome.
think that what you were just saying is shoot, I lost my thought because of him, but it's so important.
Know that I feel like you're present, you're listening, you're responding, your feet are on the ground. And that is where I always want to be, right? I always want to be.
I
And I
think that
consider myself always working towards that. But this event has spun things in a way that I'm like, okay, how do I get to that? So if my priority right now is safety, helping people, my children's safety, I you came in and I thought, oh, wait, hold on. What are those tools? And
they
I really admire you and I admire how you've moved through so many things in your life.
Well, thank you. I think that this is what trauma and grief teaches us. I always say death teaches us how to live because it does.
Mm,
When you realize how fragile our situations are, how fragile people are in our lives, how fragile our health is, how fragile our homes are, how fragile it all is. And then when you go through something where you lose it, it puts such a perspective on what's important and how you can react, and it and
yeah.
it builds up in you, and so that I hope that every time things like this happen, I hope even every time a friend loses something, a person in their lives, I can be that a pillar for them because I've gone through it before, and it just you build up that strength. You build
Yeah.
up those tools. No
Yeah.
one has these tools right away. You aren't born with these tools. Grief and trauma teaches you these tools that then come back into your life.
That's so interesting you say that because I think that probably a lot of people feel that they don't have the tools to deal with something,
Yeah, right. And you don't
right?
right now. Yeah, you might not, or you might be a person that immediately has them, and you're like, I didn't even know I had this ability to
Yeah.
do. That's what I'm saying. It's such a teaching lesson about yourself, about who you are, who you want to be,
Yeah.
who you continue want to be. It's a very self-reflective. When you go through trauma and grief and these things, it teaches you so much. Keep your listening ears on. Listen to how you feel. Listen to your friends. Listen and learn and come out on the other side.
Well, and on that, just on a practical sort of thing, listening and being able to listen means being able to breathe, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when our body is in a state, our nervous system is completely in overdrive, what do we do? Do you
Right.
meditate? I know you're a dancer and you dance and what do you do when that has come up for you?
I
What did you do?
body. I have to. I exercise has always been my like go to. I have to exert the
Yeah.
energy. So I have to let it out. I play music because I find music to be so healing, and I just exert the energy and the
Okay.
anxiety and the stress. That's what I've had. I have learned through my processes is my number one way to help
Yeah.
myself.
And
I just
and and um and I mean, for me, I was just telling some friends, I said, even to my kids, I was like, don't eat a ton of sugar. Your immune system goes down. It just like activates you. But we all want to then just kind of be debaucherous and just like it's a free for all. But then it makes us not feel good. So it's this kind of, I found myself like days passed and I have no idea what I ate, or if I didn't eat, if I ate, what I ate. I felt like I was just taking off of other people's plates and not my own. Like there was I don't remember looking in a mirror. I didn't one day I stopped. It was like yesterday. And I just kind of went, oh, wait, hold on. This is my face. This is like what, you're out of your body.
you are.
And so that's what I want to say. And so what things can we do to get back in our body? And I took a bath. I did a lot of breathing.
Yeah.
I became conscious of how much caffeine or what I was putting into my body, that can make your heart race and make things a little bit more. So, yeah. Um, and then I guess my other question to you is just like, there, as you talked about this new era, when we think about new beginnings, sometimes there's a sadness to that too,
Yeah.
because you never want things to end.
Yeah.
And so, right? And so then
Why? Yeah.
life has
I.
forced you,
Yeah.
life has forced you to a new beginning. Not one
Yes.
that you asked for in this moment
Right.
necessarily, not one that, and so there is this kind of embracing that we have to do and acknowledging, and again, it doesn't have a timeline,
Yes.
right?
Well, my girlfriend, a new friend, she just lost her husband, and
I'm
I've
sorry.
I've been, you know, with her and trying to be the best kind of support system I can to her. And she said to me the other day, she was like, when do you get to the point where you start your new life? Like, I just want to start my new life. And I said to her, you already have. It started. It started the second you lost your husband. It started. You're in your new life now. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, that we're in new life already. This has happened. It's loss, and now loss is new. So now this is new life. The new chapter has begun. You can't. It's very sad to think about that door closing, because you're right. I hate endings. I just ended my show. My job ended.
Yeah.
I hate.
Hey.
I hated when a show would end. I don't do well. But it's even harder when, like you said, it's out of your control or it's immediate, and you didn't see it coming, but it came, and you can't go back.
Mm-mm.
that 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 chapter is done and it's closed, and we're already in new life. One second, what are you looking for, my love?
My phone was under there. I can't even start trying to lift up this cushion. I can't do anything.
All right, I will help you in 2 minutes, okay? Promise. We're cooped up.
Sweetheart.
That's
I know. I'm in the same position. I'm gonna let you go in a minute. I wanted to just yeah, I think that that's super important what you're saying. It's super important. And it may not be something that everyone can hear right in this moment. Again, it's something that comes, but you're right. It's like allowing ourselves to grieve and then allowing ourselves to accept that this is going to be different.
just because you're in new life doesn't mean you're not going to grieve. You're going to grieve. It will never leave you. If you try to run from it, it will find you in every way it can.
Mhm.
New life doesn't mean you can't acknowledge grief. Actually, acknowledging grief is new life.
Mm,
Acknowledge it. Move with
that's beautiful.
it. Live with it. Live with this trauma. Move with it. Move forward through it. And also acknowledge the new beginning. Oh,
That's
Hillary's with. Hi,
I just saw
Hillary.
that. Hi, Hillary. That's beautiful, Amanda. Thank you so much for that. That is so beautiful. And you know what I think about is that just because I know it better than Altadena, but the area in the Palisades is filled with so many families, so many new families, young children, a lot of community,
Yeah.
and there's so much joy. And most of the people that you see losing their homes are talking about the years and the memories they've spent, right? And a lot. I think to myself, like, there was so much good energy in that. And many people just want to rebuild right there. They want to stay right there because that's the rebuilding. And a part of me feels like when we look at just from a spiritual standpoint, like it's as difficult as this is, we do live on a planet. And the planet's going to have feelings. It's going to fight back. And we're working in conjunction with it. And so a part of me feels like there is also a beauty in that kind of rebirth. I have a friend that posted her house that burnt down, and but the tree remained, and she wrote, the swing our swing survived. and there was a just a wooden swing on her tree, and she said, and we will rebuild it, and the children will be back on this swing. And that was like, that was just beautiful that this had just happened, and she was able to already kind of wrap her arms around this new reality, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
um some people are asking, and I'm gonna, and I ask you this too, because as a creative and an actor and performer yourself, I'm doing a play that opens this weekend, and we've been working on this for a long time, and I've been completely like, what? Like, the play is going on,
Wow.
and I didn't know how to deal with that. My mind hasn't been on it. I haven't been able to, like, the rehearsals, they're in a totally different part of town. It's complete, like, I'm the only one that's kind of fully affected. I mean, everyone is affected in LA for sure, but I'm the only one that's evacuated, let's say. And I can't not show up
No.
for my company of fellow performers. We've worked really hard for this, and so I've been a little bit conflicted about that. Like, how do I go back? How do I show up with all the energy and vitality that I need to do this well?
Yeah.
And just asking you, like, how do I give myself permission to do that?
Yes.
Because the only part of me that in any way is okay is that I feel like, what we do brings joy to people, and art is healing, and it's even a distraction. And many people need sometimes to stop looking at their phones, stop looking at the news, stop everything, stop all that, and just allow yourself to be, in a story of something, whatever that may be for you, even if it's church for 2 hours, whatever that may be. For some people, going to the theater, that's what it is. So how do
Yeah. Yes.
I?
Yes. I actually love this question. Um, this goes back to the whole thing I said about judgment and um, judging. I think judging yourself and your decision to go back to the play, and then also people possibly judging you for going back to work, or or doing this play or whatever. And I think it's, again, very, very important. We are multifaceted people. We can do many things. Everyone can feel multitudes of emotions in 1 second, 2 seconds. I can be laughing hysterically and crying hysterically within seconds. We are human beings. We have the ability to go do a play and then come home and feel again the sadness of what has been happening. And that is okay. And we need to allow ourselves to embrace the fact that we are human beings and able to do that. You might not have the energy. You're driving there and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to find the energy. But guess who will? Your coworkers are going to show up and they're going to give you so much love and so many hugs and so much support that you're going to immediately be filled with all of that. You're going to go on stage and you're going to have probably one of your best performances ever, because so tactile and so immediate, because it matters. That's why it's important you go. It matters. It matters to have those feelings, and it matters to work, and it matters to put back into your community, and it matters for your coworkers. They want to see you. They want to give you love. They want to help you. They want to support you. It's so important, and we can't sit back and judge anyone going through this process on
Yeah,
how they get back to work, when they get back to work, what they're doing
yeah,
that day, what
yeah,
they didn't do that day.
yeah,
Be considerate, be supportive. It might change your whole day to go back to work and do this show this weekend. I hope it does. It
yeah.
should.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
wonderful. Don't feel any guilt going there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, listen, I don't, there's not really a choice. Like, the production is going, and that's what it is. And I'm one person in that, but I am one person that if I were to not do it would be it would, you know, it would be an issue, and I don't want to not show up for everybody as well, but inside I've been struggling because I feel so depleted of energy from everything that's gone on all week that I'm just trying to like wrap my head around this next thing. And what's interesting, as and you know this as a mother and as a working mother, that we are doing a million things at once, right? We are sometimes feeling pain, and sometimes we're laughing, and sometimes we're in a dance class, and sometimes we're grabbing, you know, our children from school and holding their hand, getting the car and hearing that conversation. There's so many things, and sometimes we're super capable of doing them, and other times less,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. We do it on a daily basis, on a
Yeah,
daily basis.
yeah.
You know how many times I have had, you know, in Broadway days, people would lose someone and they would come back to the show the next day, and it
Oh my God, yeah, yeah.
saved them. So sometimes work saves you. Sometimes, again, this goes back to everybody grieves differently. Everybody goes through their own process, but it sometimes saves you. And right now, we, like I said, when we started this chat, you have to find those things in your day that save you, that bring you joy.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
so appreciate you coming on like this. I know that you yourself are going through everything collectively. We're all in this together, and you got that beautiful boy to kiss all over his face and take care of and play with. So I'm going to let you do that. But thank you for your time, and you're just beautiful sunshine. You are such light, and I really appreciate it. And I want to do this again and talk about you and all of the other cool projects that you have coming, including your products that you just launched, which are all health. So tell us the name, give us something, and then I want to talk about that in another session.
Well, I will say it is. This is bringing me joy. It's called Proper Nutrition, and I'm drinking the greens right now. I drink the immune support every day.
Great.
We launched with 5 superfood powders on Tuesday, and they're just honestly they're ways to bring yourself a little piece of wellness every day, and
Great.
we all
Yeah, we
need a little piece of
do.
wellness.
Yeah.
Um, Check it out, Proper Nutrition.
Where can
And
where can we see it on the site, or is it where can
Yeah,
one buy it?
yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Properhealth.com,
Proper Health.
and it's on my Instagram, of course. And I will say it's extremely affordable and extremely delicious.
Great.
So check it out.
And can you put it just in water? Can you put it
Yeah,
in anything? Just in water?
water
You can do a
or
mix up?
smoothie.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I
Great.
love it with water, but you can also put it in smoothies. Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, we're gonna do that, and then next time we're gonna talk about all the wonderful things you have going on, because you do so many things, and it's really good, lovely. I love that you're able to do it all, and so that's a whole other conversation for another day. But for the moment, thank you so much, and I send you so much love, and Elvis so much love, and you know, may we meet for a green juice in clear LA skies very soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us today. Thanks for this conversation. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
God bless.
Okay.
Bye.
God bless. Bye-bye. Bye.